Hi, this is Randy with Creme Creating Real Emotional Moments. Welcome back. It's day 47. And I have a special guest with me. He's one of my brothers. He is super cool, very active, and he really knows about this tip today. So I will let him talk more and introduce himself. Go ahead.
Hey guys, my name's Kensley Hilaire. I'm Randy's brother from Alpha Kappa Psi Professional Business Fraternity. I'm this year's current president. I'm also the conference chair for the Black Student Union and on the board for a coalition of Black organizational leaders. So I'm really happy to be here and talk about Randy's tip with you all today.
Yes, and even leaders use today's tip. And I want to bring it right to you. Tip number 47. There are levels to pettiness, and I have my phone here. I have a couple notes about the 5 different types of pettiness. There's pettiness for development, pettiness because of superiority, pettiness because of insecurity, pettiness through spite, and pettiness through amusement. And pettiness is actually one of those things where I feel like everyone should use at one point, so that way they can come across in the most brutally honest way possible. Sometimes we like to beat around the bush, let X, Y, and Z person know, hey, like what you're doing is pretty cool, is okay, but with that little spice to whatever feedback you're giving at a specific time, it enables you to say, okay, I'm human too. I can have very angry moments, very confused moments, happy moments, and it keeps you active on the emotional spectrum. Any thoughts so far on pettiness?
When I think of their levels to pettiness, I mainly think about how it affects the person you're being petty towards. So I guess the lowest level would be just normally throwing shade, like, oh, well, I turned my assignment in on time, I got a pay raise. Those are just like sub-level pettiness. But then you can take it even further and be like, oh, I'm not picking them up for work because they didn't take out the trash, or I'm not buying from their store because they didn't like my picture on Instagram. I think the levels of pettiness all depend on how it affects the person you're doing it to.
Right. And when it comes to, as he said, oh, because I passed the test, did you pass the test, things like that, that's like pettiness through insecurity. You're trying to fill a void, saying, hey, this is me now, look at me, and look at you, you failed. And you don't want to do that. That's one, disheartening, as well as it ruptures the bond that you're trying to build, if you're trying to build with someone. So you want to make sure you're being very conscientious about the type of pettiness that you use. So let's take, for instance, pettiness for development. And so when it goes back to taking out the trash, and if your mom tells you multiple times to not do something, and then you end up doing something, she's gonna give you that little remark, letting you know, like, hey, yeah, you really messed up. What you did there was is a no-go. And I remember one time I was at school, and my mom told me to tell my dad to pick me up the next day. And I decided to just keep playing video games. I decided to not listen, just kind of wait off what she was telling me. And then the next day came, and I decided to call my mom after school, asking her to pick me up. And she told me that I'll have to wait 4 hours. 4 hours for me to wait for her to come pick me up. And so that's like pettiness for development. On her end, on my end, it's like, wow, you really gonna do that, mom? Like, I messed up, I'm so sorry. But on her end, it's like, no, you have to learn a lesson. So go ahead, if you have any, on the 5 different pettiness: spite, insecurity, amusement, development, as well as entertainment.
I could definitely speak on spite because of course, we all have our family squabbles. On the far side of the family, it's 2 sisters feuding because they can't figure out who helped file the papers to help their other siblings come to America from Haiti.
Wow.
So exactly. So it's like, even though it's a big thing, it really is a small thing, because all that really matters is that they got their sibling to America. But now they really don't even speak to each other. They don't call, no birthdays, nothing like that, just because of something on who's gonna take credit.
Right. And then when you find yourself in a situation that you are being petty and it gets you the wrong type of feel, the wrong type of vibe, you have to find a way to alleviate the situation. You have to learn how to apologize, because yes, you're using pettiness to get something, to get a specific reaction, but if the reaction blows out of proportion, remember, you caused it by your actions. So be conscientious about the type of pettiness that you use. And one of the ones that we didn't touch on is pettiness through superiority. When you're in a leadership in a high position and you use pettiness just because you're in a position of power. So you want to make sure you're being very meticulous about the words you're using to the different people that you're interacting with. Because as a leader, the people that are following you are going to follow suit by the way you lead. So if you're, again, a leader in a specific position and you're being petty to the people that are under you, that everyone's on the same level, but you have more power, but people that are under you, you want to make sure that they aren't following suit, and you teach them the reason behind what you're saying, the reason behind the reason why you acted a specific way. So that way they don't get misconstrued because that they think that you don't like them, or they think that because you have the power you can do or say whatever you want. And that's not necessarily the case. It's because you probably were teaching them a specific way. No one taught you the importance of pettiness, as well as you need to realize pettiness can actually be hurtful in a specific setting.
And I think it's important to know when speaking about pettiness is that pettiness is a boomerang and not a frisbee. Because every time you dish it out, it's almost guaranteed to come back to you at an equal or greater force.
Right. And then especially if you can't take pettiness yourself, don't be petty.
Don't be
not
petty.
Like none of the 5 levels, not even for amusement.
Right.
Just don't do it.
It's not going to work out in your favor.
It's not going to work out in your favor.
Your feelings are going to get hurt.
Very hurt. And the world is tough. It's a very tough world out there, and you have to know some people aren't going to abide by certain rules. So just start building that tough skin now, especially if you're someone who uses pettiness. All right. Any final thoughts before we close out?
Just don't be petty. Just be straightforward. I think it makes life a lot easier, because we all know communication is key in all aspects. So just don't be petty. Say what you need to say.
Right. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't be a bush beater. Alright, so that's tip number 47. There are levels to pettiness. If you like this video, hit that like button. Before I let you go, I do want to let you know that 365 Tips to a Fuller Life is on pre-order right now on Amazon. So go ahead and get yourself a copy. You can get all 365 tips at your disposal. Take it wherever you can. Woo! Woo! People are having fun. That's good. So go out, enjoy the nature, enjoy some water, know their levels of pettiness. Subscribe to the next video. Cop 365 Tips to a Fuller Life. I love you. I'll see you next time. Peace.